أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. My Muslim brothers and sisters, you are welcome to our program of today, where we are preoccupying our time with the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, complying with the saying of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that no group of people will ever assemble in the masjid to remember Allah and to study the book of Allah, except that the angels will be their companions. May the angels accompany us in this sitting. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم إنه لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم يا ربنا علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. وبعد، فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
We are starting from verse 160. Verse 160. Probably it is the only verse that we are undertaking this evening. Now,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن ينصركم الله فلا غالب لكم وإن يخذلكم فمن الذي ينصركم من بعده وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن ينصركم الله فلا غالب لكم وإن يخذلكم فمن ذا الذي ينصركم من بعده وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. This is verse 160. We earlier explained verse 159, which spoke about the importance of conference, consultation among the faithfuls before decisions are taken. And we spoke about how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to seek the opinions of his companions, those faithful servants of Allah carefully chosen to accompany the final prophet. As they used to say in their poem, نحن الذين بايعوا محمدا على الجهاد ما حيينا أبدا. We are the people who have given our oath to be his supporters of Muhammad the Prophet, inasmuch as we are living on jihad in the path of Allah forever. And whenever they made this stanza, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was never an expert in the make of poems, used to make what is known as urjuza. Poem like is not a poem, because in Suratu Yasin Al-Majala told you, وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ وَمَا يَنبَغِي لَهُ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ وَقُرْآنٌ مُبِينٌ. The prophet was not taught to make poem. So, Quran does not look like a poem at all. Even the rhymes that are there are better heard than the rhymes of the poem. So the Prophet ﷺ used to reply his companions whenever they made that statement. He would say, Allahumma la khayra illa khayru li akhira farhami li ansar wa li muhajira. Oh Allah, there is no goodness except the one you prepared for the faithful in the hereafter. Therefore, be merciful to the helpers and the emigrants altogether. The compiler of Tafsir al-Muyassar, in their own comment on that verse 159 that we explained yesterday, they say, فَبِرَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لَكَ وَلِأَصْحَابِكَ أَيُّهَا النَّبِيُّ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ فَكُنْتَ رَفِيقًا بِهِمْ. Due to the divine mercy from Allah, which He has bestowed upon you and upon your companions, O Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you much, and so you were so lenient with them. You always take things easy with them. You never display harshness upon them. وَلَوْ كُنْتَ سَيِّئَ الْخُلُقِ, if you have been ill-tempered in your conduct, قَاسِيَ الْقَلْبِ, hard-hearted, لَانْصَرَفَ أَصْحَابُكَ مِنْ حَوْلِكَ, your companions would have deserted you. They would have disappeared from around you. فَلَا تُؤَاخِذْهُمْ بِمَا كَانَ مِنْهُمْ فِي غَزْوَةِ أُحُدٍ. Therefore, you should not condemn them because of what occurred on their part during the battle of Uhud. The others and some senior Sahaba who made some errors, do not blame them much for that. وَاسْأَلِ اللَّهَ أَيُّهَا النَّبِيُّ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ. You, Prophet, should rather ask Allah to forgive them their faults. وَشَاوِرِهُمْ فِي الْأُمُورِ الَّتِي تَحْتَاجُ إِلَى مَشُورَةٍ. And you should make sure that you always seek their opinion in matters that stand in need of consultation. فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ عَلَى أَمْرٍ مِنَ الْأُمُورِ. But when you decide, when you determine doing any matter, بعد الاستشارة, on advices given to you, you know when you have advisors, the advices they will be giving will be different. So when you have advices from them, when everybody has spoken his mind, فَأَمْدِهِ, go ahead with what appeal to you. مُعْتَمِدًا عَلَى اللَّهِ وَحْدَهُ, relying on Allah alone in the execution of such decision. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَوَكِّلِينَ عَلَيْهِ, because surely Allah indeed loves those who rely upon him. That is what the writers of Tafsir said about verse 159, that which we explained yesterday. Now, coming to the new verse of discourse, Allah says here, وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. I will tell you the brief meaning in English language, and then I will ask you what you understand from the verse. If Allah helps you, then none can overcome you. If he abandons you, who else then can help you? In Allah then, let the believers put their trust. If I may ask you, what do you understand from this Quranic verse? What do you understand there? Who can tell me? What do you understand?
There is no help from everybody except Allah.
What do you understand from the verse?
No one can help except Allah.
That nobody can help if not Allah. Nobody can help if not Allah. Even in an instance where you are asking someone to assist you, you can only do that in what is within the reach of a creation. And that is why the people who go to ritualists are not doing well. They have a ritualist to make them rich. They ask a ritualist to give them children, and you know which kind of riches they get from Satan and which kind of children they get from Satan. So Allah alone is the helper. That is what this verse is genuinely telling us. Allah is the supreme power, as he names himself Al-Wahidul Qahhar, the one prevailing. Go to Suratu Al-An'am, Quran chapter 6 verse 18. Suratu Al-An'am, Quran chapter 6 verse 18 of Suratu Al-An'am. Allah says there,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وهو القاهر فوق عباده وهو الحكيم الخبير.
Allah alone is the one that reigns supreme. He is the one that reigns supreme over all of his creations, because he is ever wise, ever aware. He is ever aware of what people are doing, just as he is ever wise in whatever he is doing. Any creation nature that plays God will regret doing so. Exactly as Pharaoh of the ancient Egypt regretted his behavior, his insolence, his insolent stand against his subjects, that he was cheating and oppressing. In Suratu, Quran chapter 7, verse 127, Almighty Allah gives us the accounts of the statement.
وقال الملأ من قوم فرعون أتذر موسى وقومه ليفسدوا في الأرض قال آلهة قال سنقتل أبناءهم ونستحيي نساءهم وإنا فوقهم قاهرون.
Pharaoh thought that he could independently do anything without the permission of Allah. He's now saying, وَإِنَّا فَوْقَهُمْ قَاهِرُونَ. We have irresistible power over these Israelites for a rapid subjugation. We can easily subdue them. They are under our control. You see, he did not believe that Allah is the one that gave him power, because when Musa delivered the message of Allah to him, he belied him, and he was making a jest out of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. He did not believe in Allah, but alas, he had to say another thing when he found himself drawn in the Red Sea, as you have that statement in Suratu Yunus, Quran chapter 10, verse 90. Verse 90, Suratu Yunus.
وجاوزنا ببني إسرائيل البحر فاتبعهم فرعون وجنوده بغيا وعدوا حتى إذا أدركه الغرق قال آمنت أنه لا إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل وأنا من المسلمين.
It was when he found himself that he now say, آمنت أنه لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل. As some you write the ye paripa. I believe that man has the right to be worshipped, but he, Allah, in whom the children of Israel believed. He did not even say that, oh, now I have agreed that only Allah, the Creator, deserves being worshipped. What he says here is that he believed in what the children of Israel believed. And you know that even the Israelites had a shaky faith in Allah. The Israelites had a shaky faith in Allah, because you know the way they maltreated their prophet Musa and Harun. So he said that he believed in what they believed, which means that his own belief was also shaky. Yes. He says, I am now one of the Muslims. I am now one of the Muslims. I have now agreed to submit myself to the will of Allah. He said this when he was drowning. We should know that Allah who created us decided that only He we should be worshiping. above. And that help that comes from above is not baseless. It is not groundless. And that is why whenever you are a leader, if you want Allah to stand by you, you should also stand by Allah. You should not behave the way Pharaoh behaved. You have to stand by Allah to believe in what the Sharia of Allah indicates. You are not to play God the way Pharaoh played God and told people, "Ma alimtu lakum min ilahin ghayri." I don't think that there is any other deity for you to worship besides my own self. And he said, "Anna rabbukum la'ala," I am your highest Lord. So don't mind Musa. Don't listen to what Musa is telling you, because I am the one that you should worship. He was playing God. You as a leader should not play God in any sense. Because in hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is regarded to be hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was quoted as saying, "Al-'izzu izaru wal-kibriya'u rida'uhu faman yunazi'uni adhabtuhu." That the show of power and the display of arrogance is Allah's own monopoly. It is a no-go area for any of his creations, because Allah has vowed, saying, "Whoever contends and competes with me over that posture, I will surely punish him." And he has punished Pharaoh for playing God. You as a leader, you must not play God. This is why any self-centered person is misplacing his priority. You should not be proud of yourself. Arrogance is a taboo. It's not befitting a human being. You have to be humble. Since humbleness is the best, however, man must continue to learn from his mistakes, since no human being is infallible. No human being is infallible. And if you don't walk, you cannot commit mistake. If you don't stand down, if you don't stand up, they cannot say that you fall down. It is the person that is standing that can fall. And it is the person that is even talking that can have a slip of tongue. A person that is a dumb, not able to talk, you cannot say that he has a slip of tongue. So it is when you are walking that you can make mistake. But when you make mistakes and you admit your errors and then adjust, you will be the best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, Pharaoh misbehaved, and so Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not behave the way Pharaoh as a leader behaved. And even the companions in their behaviors never behaved the way the chiefs of Pharaoh behaved, because the chiefs of Pharaoh followed him on the bad steps, just as Pharaoh himself was so tyrannic. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not behave so, because leadership position is very, very delicate and fragile. you are both loved and hated by people. Some will love you and some others will hate you. Because you are asking people to do good, and you should not expect all of them to love you. Because whenever they do something wrong, you will try to correct them. With that, they will hate you. They will say that you don't want them to enjoy life. You don't want them to live their life the way they want it. That is why, for Allah to support your efforts, you must take into consultation with people under you. More heads are always better than one in the make of proposals and their execution. Consultation will guarantee benefits for both the leader and those he is leading. Why? Because counseling other people is itself an act of ibadah in our religion of Islam. As you have it in hadith, wherein Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in hadith number 7 in Nawawi 40 hadith, ad-dinun nasiha, ad-dinun nasiha, ad-dinun nasiha,
ad-dinun nasiha,
that the only way by which the performance of your religion can be correct is when you advise one another. He repeated that 1-3 times. The Sahaba asked him, Nasiha? Nasiha? What do you mean by Nasiha? He said, Lillahi, you use what Allah says to correct. Wali kitabihi. Whatever you find in his book, you use it in your admonition. Wali rasulihi. The way his prophet displayed the execution and the practicalization of the message is what you should also do. Then your advice should be directed towards the leaders of the Muslims and the general body of the Ummah, the public in general. Number 2, seeking the opinions of stakeholders will assure them of sense of belonging, because you will be carrying them along. And that the decisions are not emanating from just a few people dictating for the rest. You know, in the Sharia of Islam, Allah described this ummah in Suratu Quran chapter 42 in verse 38, that Suratu Quran 42 verse 38, Allah says,
والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
Yeah. In this Quranic verse 38 of Surah
والذين استجابوا لربهم,
Allah said that those who have responded to the call of Allah,
وأقاموا الصلاة,
and so they are performing salat,
وأمرهم شورى,
with that, whenever a matter arises, their affair is always determined through consultation among themselves. There will be no dictator among them. Number 3, a proper consultation will enable each stakeholder to individually brainstorm in focus with other stakeholders, and so they will arrive at something that will be of good benefits to all. the person who is being consulted will neither have cause to regret, nor will he have the chance of later condemning what he was part of deciding, because he was there when that decision was taken. And so, he will not object to it. Allah now says, وَإِنْ يَخَذُلْكُمْ
وَإِنْ يَخْذُلْكُمْ فَمَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَنْصُرُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ.
I advise every leader, be you president, be you chairman, be you governor, be you councillor, be you head of any sector, you must know that if Allah abandons you to yourself, you will not succeed in your endeavor. That is why it says here, وَإِنْ يَخَذُلْكُمْ, if Allah is to abandon you,
فَمَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَنْصُرُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ.
who else do you imagine will be able to help you, in as much as no movement can occur on this earth without the divine predetermination of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for such to occur. How do you imagine becoming successful without taking steps towards success? Remember that after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala imposed the fasting of Ramadan as an injunction upon us, in Suratu, Quran chapter 2, verse 186, he now says, verse 186 of Suratu man, go and give him one English translation so that he can quickly come to whatever Quranic verse he wants.
وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ.
That is English. Take that one so that you can easily, it's English with English translation, so that you can easily locate the chapter number. Instead of you stressing your eyes in the Arabic booklet. Now,
وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ.
In that very brief Quranic chapter, Almighty Allah is telling us,
إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي,
O you Muhammad, if my servants ask you about me, when Muslims ask you about me,
فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ,
tell them that I am very close to them. Allah is not far from us.
فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ.
Allah is very, very close to you, even than yourself. Because what you don't imagine about yourself, Almighty Allah knows it.
فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ.
Allah says that He is very close to you.
أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ.
That whenever a caller, whenever a supplicant is calling,
دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ,
that He, the Almighty, will respond. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I respond to the invocations of any supplicant, but on condition of what? On the condition that that supplicant should also obey my commandment. He should have a good faith in me, so that they can be upright in their undertakings. What we want to tell you there is that Allah only responds to someone who himself responds to what Almighty Allah asks him to do. When you obey Allah, you will be confident that when you make dua, Allah will surely respond. But in an instance where you disobey, don't you know that if you have an elder and the elder person is asking you to do something and you disobey him, you will not make that elder person happy. If you go to ask him something, he will not be happy to give you what you want. So, if you want Almighty Allah to also respond positively to your dua, you should also do what he has asked you to do. Without us bragging, there are among people those, whenever they become presidents, chairmen, governors, councillors, or heads of sectors, they do not do well. They do not perform well because of the way they treat those under them. And they should know that among the people that they are controlling and they are leading, there are those who are friends of Allah, those who are obeying Allah much. And they must be very clear with the fact mentioned in Hadith Qudsi, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was quoted as saying, Man ada li waliyan faqad adantuhu bil harbi. Anyone who attempts showing hostility towards my friend, I will also declare war against such person for disrespecting my friend. And that is why you as a leader, you have to be very, very careful. Do not put yourself in the same show with Pharaoh of the ancient Egypt, who disregarded the message brought to him by Prophet Musa, alayhi salam, and so he was punished. When you disregard the opinions of those under you, you are not helping yourself, because a single tree can never make a bush. A single tree cannot make a bush. You have to cooperate with other people to make things work well. And part of cooperation is that whenever you see something that is helpful to a place of worship, you render that service. Render that service. It is part of cooperation. Whatever contribution that you make, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replenish it for you. Only you cannot succeed in moving everything forward. That was why the Prophet ﷺ had always sought the opinions of his companions in matters of mutual concern. It was only in cases already resolved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the Prophet ﷺ did not stand in need of consulting the companions. He used to go ahead and implement the divine directive that came to him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah says, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ, as in Suratu Al-Ahzab. Whenever Almighty Allah or the messenger has decreed something, no believing Muslim should have a different opinion. Even Prophet Muhammad rejected any form of intercession in cases decided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because to compromise the truth was never the method of the Prophet ﷺ as a leader. You cannot abandon the divine directive that came from Allah just to please people, while your dua should be that Allah should not abandon you. If you don't want Allah to abandon you, then you should not abandon the directives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you. You know, in your prayer, as part of the Azkarul Sabah wal Masa, you say, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, O Allah, the ever-living, the ever-subsisting, Birahmatika Astaghith. It is by your mercy I seek assistance. Aslih li sha'ani kullahu. Therefore, rectify for me all of my affairs. Wala takilni ila nafsi tarfata ayn. And do not leave me to myself even for an eye blink. If you pray this way, you should know that Ya Allah, Ya Yaseniri. When you say Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you should do what will help that prayer to materialize. Not that you say, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, and then you are doing what is against what you profess. It is therefore unfortunate that many people even read that dua as part of their morning and evening zikr. Yet, they do not grab the full meaning of that dua. But I think I have now explained what that dua means for you. When you say Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, bi rahmatika astaghith, aslih li sha'ani kullahu, wa la takilni ila nafsi tarfata ayn, you should also rise up to the duties which Almighty Allah prescribed and imposed. The last and the ending of that verse is what? The ending of that verse is
وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
In Allah then let the believers put their trust.
فمن ذا الذي ينصركم من بعده.
Because nobody can help you if Allah abandons you.
وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
Knowing that the faithful should put their trust in Allah. When you rely on Allah, you have no cause to fear, because Allah is the one that you should fear. If there are people who are after you, they will never be able to harm you except what Almighty Allah has written to be your own portion. as we have it in Hadith, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَى أَنْ يَنْفَعُوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَنْفَعُوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ لَكَ. Also, when اجتمعوا على أن يضروك بشيء لم يضروك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله عليك. People cannot on their own benefit you or harm you, and that is why if a person comes to you looking for your assistance, if you are able to respond and you fail to do, Almighty Allah will pave way for another person to assist him, because Allah is the one that put you in that place, and He can also place another person there to assist that person. This statement with which Almighty Allah ended the verse is not an overstatement at all.
وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
Rather, if you have the support of all people and Allah is not supporting you, you will just be like a person that rigged election. He used some people to rig election, and those loyalists were the people who supported him. He's not having the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is why he will not enjoy the position. He will not be able to enjoy the position because he did not attain it through the genuine channel. Allah is the truthful supporter. The support of people without Allah is useless, futile, inactive, and won't favor you. That is why reliance on other than Allah is considered in our religion as shirk. Even when you prepare food for yourself to break your fasting of today, you should still rely on Allah on let that food benefit you. Because you know that many people do it, on eating they become sick. Which means that only Allah will let that food benefit you. That is why you are to rely on Allah. And it is because of that, whenever a Muslim wants to embark on doing something, what will he say? Bismillah. Failure to say Bismillah on everything you want to do amounts to harming yourself and frustrating yourself and rendering that thing useless. Kul amri ibad ma lam yubda bi bismillah fa huwa abtar. Such thing will be incomplete. When you want to do something, you say la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, telling Allah that you are powerless, asking Almighty Allah to let your efforts be fruitful. Tawakkul is part of Tawheed, is one of the devotions with which you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you now rely upon other things, if you rely on your own power, the way Pharaoh did, you have committed shirk. You have committed shirk. However, your reliance on Allah greatly depends on the strength of your faith in Allah, your iman. There is in that verse, the ending of that verse, وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. There is this grammatical Arabic formula known as hasr, confinement, restraint. You can see that tawakkul is positioned in the verse as being restrained strictly to be devoted unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence, Allah says, wa ala Allah, before saying, فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And that is why the translation goes thus: in Allah then let the believers put their trust. Alallahi preceded فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Instead of saying فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ. If you say this, it is also correct. But that one will not negate the shirk that this verse is trying to instill in your mind. That whenever you want to do something, if it is ordinary medicine you want to use, you should believe that Allah is the one that will make that medicine active. You want to take paracetamol when you are having headache, when you want to use it with water, you want to put in your mouth, Bismillah. When you now want to put that, you say Bismillah. You don't rely on that medicine. In Allah you should put your trust. That is the message Allah gave you and I in that ending of the verse. May Allah increase us in knowledge and faith, and may He enable us to always abide by the beautiful teachings of our religion. فَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا. ربنا أفرج علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. يا مصرف القلوب اصرف قلوبنا إلى طاعتك يا رب العالمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.